Hello, blog entry number 6 on Free Yourself from Yourself. Dan Weintraub here, February 25th, 2012. I just got back from a week in Florida with my little children, visiting my parents, and I want to talk about practice number 6 from the 8 practices that I outlined on this particular website. Number 6 being treating other people and other people's journeys with compassion and trying not to be judgmental. Now, my mother and I have had a very friction-filled relationship for as long as I can remember. As much as we love each other in a very parental, child-parental, and sort of theoretical way, we have a very difficult time together. And it's been very hard for us. There's an inordinate amount of tension between us. And there have been times where it has blown up into an amazing amount of conflict. And I've spent, decades trying to figure it out, right? Reading books like Toxic Parents and this and that and Codependence and blah, 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 and spending time with the psychologist, telling me about your mother. Anyway, what I understand, now, again, the entire premise of this blog, my website, and everything I'm doing here is to not sabotage my life. Because what ends up happening is when I have conflict with my family, when I have conflict with my mother, it is self-sabotaging. It ends up coming back to hurt me. I mean, it hurts other people too. I don't want to hurt other people. It hurts me because I end up in conflict when I don't need to have that conflict. And what I discovered over this past week, and again, I mean, a lot of this is taking a lot of time to reflect and sit quietly and not react to impulses, but take a step back from them and say, where's this impulse coming from? So the impulse that I have when I'm with my mother sometimes is just to roll my eyes and be so frustrated by the fact that she seems to only want attention for herself and not in any way be able to listen, truly listen to somebody else. Now, for years, forever, I've said, oh, she's so narcissistic, oh, blah, 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 blah. What I understand is that she and I are extraordinarily similar. We are of the character as human beings that we are leaders. We seek out people in our lives who reflect us so that we can be the storytellers, we can be the raconteurs, we can be the entertainers, we can be the people around whom attention gathers, as opposed to the attention givers. I've always watched political events where, a Newt Gingrich or a Mitt Romney or whomever will get up in front of a crowd and there are like these thousands of people cheering for this other person. And it's always been very puzzling to me because I'm like, why would I go somewhere and cheer like that for somebody else in such an abstract way? And I've always sought to be the person who gets the cheers as opposed to gives the cheers. Now, that's for a whole other discussion. My mom is the same way. We are both people who seek the attention, who seek the cheers as opposed to who give them. We're very good at giving them theoretically. We're very good at giving them intellectually. I'm wonderful at giving attention to my children intellectually and being very generous intellectually. But when it comes to really sitting and cheering for somebody else and being in that moment, it's very hard for me because my general character is very attention toward me. Parentheses. Is it a flaw? A huge flaw. Am I going to change it? No, that's who I am. Do I sabotage myself by putting myself in positions where I come up against other people who are the same way, and instead of recognizing that and smiling and saying, here are two people who are like two positive force magnets, you can't push them together, we're just going to keep going like that. Sometimes no, sometimes I sabotage myself. I've done it at work many times where I come up against an administrator who is like me, and I take their actions toward me, they're ignoring me, my perception that they're not interested in me, that they're only interested in their own stories, I take that as a slight on me. I end up getting in conflict with them, and I end up losing my job. Anyway, With my mom, what I understand is that we are two positively forced, or negative, magnets, and that the harder we try to come together, the more we go on, and it can be very conflict orienting. So the way I try not to sabotage myself in this relationship is by recognizing that, and when my mother is doing what she does, which is being a storyteller, being the center of attention, my job is to sit back, to take deep breaths, and to try as hard as I can to not come up in conflict with that by reacting based upon who I am, by putting in brackets or parentheses who I am, what my character is, and by just letting her be herself. Is it easy? No. I mean, Florida for me, I mean, you know, half the time I was in Florida, I have a stomachache because I'm fighting so hard against, you know, my own way of being. However, do I want to be in conflict with my beautiful, loving mother? Of course not. Do I want to have fights with her? Of course not. Do I want to, you know, view her as somehow being in the wrong? Not only is that dumb, but it's like, we're just two people trying to figure it out. So, practice 6. Try to view other people's journeys with compassion and don't react to those gut feelings, because it's those gut feelings when you react to them that end up being self-sabotaging. Okay, that's all I got for today. See you tomorrow. Bye.